morning, everyone. Thanks for joining our webinar presented by Reveres Academy and the Cambodia of Chambers and curated by Up Your Games 2016. Thank you for your presence. I understand that it's a holiday yesterday and hope that you have enjoyed your holiday. Today we'll be presenting Getting into the Mind of Google's in SEO, so by Mr. Eugene. Okay, so of course the outline is that the digital marketing landscape has changed over the years, and leaders and business need to keep up with the online presence, programs, and profit system to capture the existing and new market. So one pivot point would be to incorporate the three live in digital marketing campaign, namely live engagement, live experience, and live entertainment. So in this webinar, you will learn new way to strategize these three live in your marketing campaign and build customer for a lifetime. The learning outcome would be the ability to up your game in business, branding, and life in large. Okay, posting on different types of social media, top 3 video tips, and top 3 myths. Okay, so our trainer today is Mr. Eugene. He's the SEO king. He is a former digital director of Standard Chart, retail banking in Singapore. So he's also an avid digital marketing strategist, as well as certified search engine optimization, principal consultant and coach. So he has managed 360 digital marketing campaign for corporation and SME to create a digital footprint to attract, engage, and retain more customers. So without further ado, let us welcome Eugene to give us the talk. Thank you, Eugene. Yeah, hand over to you, Eugene.
Hi, thank you everyone. Firstly, I want to thank King Hwa and the various communities for inviting me. A warm welcome to the members of Cambodian business. What is it? Cambodian Chamber of Commerce members. A warm welcome to you. And you know, today we're going to talk about something very interesting. We cannot basically rule out Google. We cannot ignore Google. So let me get into my slides. Okay, can I confirm that you are seeing a full screen? Yes, right?
Yes.
Okay, yep. So today the topic is getting into the mind of Google. Instant SEO hacks to bring clients to you. And as pointed out, what is the best way to bring live clients to you? And that is the way in which people are constantly searching in Google. Even when you're sleeping, people are searching in Google. So the fact of the matter is we cannot ignore Google and the importance of Google for businesses. So we're going to dive into getting into the mind of Google and to understand how Google works and how we can take advantage of this and what strategies we can do to make sure that our website and various social media is basically discoverable by Google. Okay, I'll just do a very quick introduction of myself. I'm a former digital director of marketing in Standard Chartered Bank. We do retail banking. We do all sorts of products from loans to personal banking, business banking, and as well as investment and private banking as well, right? So I'm currently an internet marketing coach and mentor, and I'm a certified SEO practitioner for many years. And I have a deep passion for digital marketing and search engine optimization. And I have a community. I founded a community several years back It's called Internet Marketing Secrets, and today we have over 1,000 members. And I will invite you to join this community so that the learning will continue later. Do not worry, everything will be free. There is nothing that, I will sell to you, right? So everything is free knowledge. And even if you like, these slides can be made available to you. And, I will pass the slides to Kingwa so that you guys can really download it and digest it later. So today, in this day and age that we have met, and you are physically located in another country, you are physically located in Cambodia. Today, I can safely tell you that my digital name card is IamSEOking.com. And that is my YouTube channel with over 60 videos. You can subscribe it at the end of the lesson. I will make this link available again, right? So without further ado, let's start. We start with the very basic on what is SEO. Basically, search engine optimization is the process in which you build an internet footprint for your business. So an internet footprint is like an online street sign to point people to the products and services, and also to point people to your business eventually. So for example, if you have a new office and you have an office opening, you will tell us the exact location. The street name is near certain prominent landmark. That is basically the physical footprint in which you are telling people how to find your business. Similarly, are you doing the same? Are you leaving internet footprints so that people can find your business? Another example is an old tale called Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel got lost in the forest, and they actually threw breadcrumbs. They broke up the bread that they have into small pieces and actually throw it on the floor so that they can trace their way back. So the question, ladies and gentlemen, that I will leave in your mind today at this point is, are you leaving digital footprint for your business so that people are able to find you? So now we come to the very interesting fact of who came first, the Google or the Yahoo. And basically, this is a timeline that I extracted from Wikipedia here that shows the era that the search engines has evolved. And one important point is that 1994, Yahoo was born. But in 1998, Google was born. And today, Google is the #1 search engine in the world, Google.com. The #2 search engine in the world that a lot of people don't realize is YouTube.com, which is now owned by Google as well for many years. So we look at this, the fight between Yahoo and Google. Remember, Yahoo came first and then Google came several years later, and how Google was able to consolidate the market share. Basically, Google focuses on user experience. Basically, the user experience, Google focus a lot on getting relevant information to you, right? And there's a strong relevancy. Google came up with the concept that if you have more links linking to you, your website is more popular. That is at that point in time. Later we will see, right now is not really the case, right? But at that point in time, the more links you have to your website means you are more popular. And how do you get more links to your website? You are actually leaving all these digital footprints to let people find your business. For example, you list in some business directory. That's one footprint, right? With linking back to your website. That's what I mean, right? So Google was able to provide a more relevant search results And at that point in time, Google doesn't have ads. It's just all the organic results only. And at that point in time, we must also understand that Yahoo was a directory-based engine. That means what, for example, you click a particular category, like for example, children clothes, and then you link, it goes back to Yahoo and it tells you these are the people that are selling children's clothes, right? But but Google was different. Google, when you search, for example, children's clothes, Google give you a list of results that when you click the results, it actually link away from Google. And at that point in time, Yahoo was making a lot of advertising money by having banners, because Yahoo's concept is always to keep people on Yahoo. But Google chose a different route to be radical. They chose to direct people directly to the website of your search result. That's why they are relevant. And at that point in time, Google has not run ads, so Google has no way to monetize their traffic, but yet they do it. And another thing to note is Google has this launch of Gmail, which was very secret, and you need somebody with Gmail to invite you to be on Gmail. And when you are on Gmail, naturally you will use the Google search. So that is how Google was able to so-called win the search engine wars in Yahoo, despite coming back only a few years later. Win the war, the race to be relevant. So what did Google do to be relevant, right? Besides providing relevant results, which is important, Google started buying technologies. Google started buying technologies to form the basis of what we have today as Google Photos. Google bought technologies to form the basis of what we have on YouTube, AdWords, AdSense, Google Analytics, Google Maps, and the list goes on, right? So Google bought all these technologies to consolidate its position. Imagine if Google didn't buy YouTube, then today Google is only #1 search engine in the world. But because Google bought YouTube, Google is #1 and #2 search engine in the world, right? I will leave this slide for you to digest later on. As what I say, all slides will be made available. Next, Google started to make a series of algorithm updates because people were trying to cheat the system. People were trying to do a lot of things to cheat the system by having, by repeating a lot of keywords on your website, and your content is not useful or not readable to the human, but you are able to rank well. So what did Google do? In February 2011, Google launched the Google Panda to basically Google Panda is an on-page filter to detect poor content like this, repetition of keywords, but nothing useful to the user, right? So this was the concept called keyword stuffing, where you just repeat keywords in one page more than 20 times, and then you will rank. Because at that point in time, Google look at as long as you have keywords, you will rank, but not anymore, right? So outcome of Google Panda is make sure that the results show relevant. Remember, the moment Google loses its relevancy, Yahoo will take over. Then in April 2012, Google launched the Google Penguin update, which is focusing on off-page SEO. And this was a killer to many sites because a lot of sites went crazy getting other sites to link to them in an unethical manner. And after 2012, Google Penguin addresses that, and today is not about getting as many sites to you, but it's more of getting more relevant sites to you. For example, if you are manufacturing plastic, are you able to get into the plastic supplier database? That link is more useful to you than a forum link, right? forum link no longer is as useful as before. Next, we come to the Google Penguin, which is in July 2014. And Google Penguin looked at the local search updates. The problem before July 2014 is this. For example, if I were to search for a ice sculptor, right? Let's say I have a wedding coming up, I need an ice sculpture. And the problem is before Google Penguin, when I search ice sculpture, I will get results from USA. But I am staying in Singapore. There is no way I can hire this USA guy for my wedding sculpture. So Google Pigeon addresses this point that if you are in Cambodia, the results will be more relevant to you and it will show Cambodian businesses, right? And this is based on the local listing as well as how close you are, proximity, because Google can see your location. Let's say, for example, you're surfing the internet from your mobile phone. Google can see your location and Google will suggest businesses that are very close to you. And this update really helps restaurants, right? Restaurants is normally proximity, how close you are. Of course, good food matters as well, right? So that is Google Pigeon. Next, we come to Google Hummingbird. And Hummingbird was really a game changer in September 2013, right? In September 2013, Google rolled out Hummingbird. And right now, Hummingbird is able to better understand conversational search, meaning to say that I will be able to understand what is your intention, whether you key in these keywords, whether you have an intention to buy, and I will display results based on that. Google Hummingbird was able to also understand full sentences better, right? And then next is October 2015. You see that muscle man there. That is Google Rank Brain. Google Rank Brain. October 2015, Google Rank Brain was introduced to better understand never seen before search query. What do I mean by never seen before search query? Is this. Yesterday, I decided to set up a business called Panda Ice Supplier, for example. So Panda Ice Supplier is new, is a never seen before search. So Google Rank Brain uses the fact that it is very focused on artificial intelligence, machine learning, and basically it is able to understand and provide the results better over time, right? So this is used to better handle search of, for example, a new company launch, a new property launch. That is the purpose of all this, right? So next we come about Google. Is Google all about keywords? It used to be, but it still is, but right now it's more on topics, right? We will come to that later. So first point you need to understand is not all keywords are made equal. Which keyword is your buyer searching for? Okay, let's take an example. When somebody is searching for the word property in Cambodia, it can mean anything, right? It can be a student researching for properties in Singapore, a student based in Singapore researching for properties in Singapore, or a student based in Cambodia researching for the types of property. Maybe she is writing a report for her school on the type of properties in Cambodia. So it doesn't mean anything. So for example, let's look at this keyword, apartment in Manhattan. So when someone is searching for apartment in Manhattan, what you know? They just want an apartment in Manhattan. It can also mean anything. But the moment when somebody search for a 3-room apartment in Manhattan, you can see as compared to the word property, apartment in Manhattan and 3-room apartment in Manhattan, which keyword has a stronger buyer intent, or which keyword, when the user search, has a higher probability that the person will buy. So if you are a property agent, you do not rank for property Cambodia, is useless, right? You don't even rank for like apartment in Cambodia, but instead you rank for 3-room apartment in a certain Cambodia street, 4-room apartment in certain Cambodia street. You know, that's how it is. That is a buying keyword. Buying keyword means people searching in the keyword has a very high intention to buy. So SEO is not about getting keywords in, it's more about identifying the buying keywords first and then researching what are the associated keywords around these buying keywords, right? And another tip is do not over optimize your keywords. Remember, we have seen that Google Panda addresses that. If you over optimize, then your website will go into a Google penalty or Google filter, Google penalty, or even your site may be de-indexed. When you get de-indexed, means that you no longer appear in the search engine, even if you were formerly in Google page 1 listing, right? So next we come to this concept of the department store analogy. So imagine Google walking into a department store, which is your website, right? Is your department store well organized, right? Do you have the necessary keywords, and not only the keywords, the buying keywords? Do you have topical topical relevance? That means to say, are your topics divided and linked together, right? That is what we mean by topical. And also contextual. Contextual relevance is, for example, if your website talks about Apple, you must give Google some context to let Google know that you are talking about apple, the fruit. For example, juicy. I just had a juicy apple. When you have juicy apple, it means Google will make that relation contextually that you are talking about apple, the fruit. If you have, I bought a new Apple iPhone, then Google will make that association that you are talking about Apple, the company. So again, is your site well organized? Does Google know the location and service area of your business, right? One of the key important thing is there is this thing Google gave you a free directory. It's called Google My Business Listing. So if you have a business, the first step you need to do, besides having to set up your website, is create a Google My Business Listing. How this works is, once you have your domain, abc.com, you link your Google My Business Listing with abc.com. And the moment when you create a Google My Business Listing, Google will send a postcard to verify that your business is really in their address. When you receive the postcard, there is an unlock code. You enter the unlock code, and this Google My Business listing remains for you for life. Okay, it's completely free. And how does it work? Once you have a approved Google My Business listing, Google will know that the website that you key in there, Google will then crawl the website and realize that this whole website is talking about this ABC company, and Google will know that ABC company is situated in Cambodia. And remember, we have the Hummingbird update, where if people in Cambodia were searching for certain products and services, and that's how you will appear, right? So is Google page 1 easy to achieve, right? So now we come to a very interesting part, which is the demo. Just give me a minute. Let me stop share the screen first. Yes, we come to the interesting part, which is the demo. And I will show to you a live demo of one of the clients that I've seen, right? So can I confirm that you are seeing my Google screen right now, right? Yes, 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 huh?
Yes.
Okay, so we begin. So how does Google know you know how to present? Okay, we will see this. So for example, coming back to the ice sculpture example. So for example, if I'm searching for ice, so a lot of SEO companies guarantee you that they can bring you to Google page one, right? So let's look at this example. Ice sculpture Singapore, 9 million, 9 million results, right? Okay, 9 million results, that's a lot. So this is a breakdown of what we call the Google search engine result page, or SERP, SERP, right? So the SERP starts with anything that you see that has an AD, that's an ad, okay? You have no control over that because that one is you buy from Google, right? So as you can see, uh, this is Google page one, number one. This belongs to my client's competitor. Google page one, number two. This is my client's website, Ice Carving Singapore. Number three is my client's website also, right? Scrolling down, what is interesting is you can see that this thing called the uh, branded image search. Let me open this. The branded image search, as you can see, is this. You have the company name and you have Ice Carving Singapore. So coming back to the example, branded keyword search is also shown. Then more often than not, you will get this people also ask. How to get on this? Actually, there's no direct way to get on this, but one way is to have a comprehensive, frequently asked questions on your website, particularly in regarding ice sculpture in Singapore, and you will start to rank for this, right? And as you can see, Pinterest, this is my client's site. Then coming down, this is called the Google Map Pack. This is my client's website already. So we have 4 already. Yeah? So, ladies and gentlemen, for example, okay, let's come back to here. How would you like in having 9 million results to have 4 listing for ice sculpture Singapore as shown before, right? Next, I can show you one more, and then we will come back to the training itself. So wedding ice sculpture Singapore. So wedding ice sculpture Singapore, as you can see, this is Google page one, number one. This is a map pack listing. If you are wondering how do you get on for your map to show, basically this map pack listing is a listing in Google My Business that you claim, right? So page one, number one, page one, number two, page one, number three. This is the branded image search. This is the Pinterest. This is a video in YouTube. So as you can see, in a result, right? In this case, 4 million results, I have about 4 or 5 listings, right? In Google page one, right? So coming back to the training itself, just give me a minute. Let me switch the screen. Hang on. Okay, so coming back to the training, is Google page one, number one, easy to achieve? How about multiple Google page one listing? As we can see in the demo, I am able to achieve multiple Google page one listing for my client, right? So a recap, for example, I Sculpture Singapore, 11 million results. Google search engine result page, SERP, has 10 results. Results achieved are 5 listing on Google page 1 for 11.7 million results. Number 2. Number 3 is an image pack listing. Number 4, number 9, and a map pack listing as well, right? So that is what I mean, right? Multiple Google page 1 listing is unlocked. So everybody has been asking, right? I mean, you must be amazed or surprised. How did I do it, right? So now we come to a very interesting topic of getting into the mind of Google, trying to know what understand. Okay, firstly, your website needs to be topical in nature. That means you talk about certain topics, like for example, you talk about ice sculpture, ice carving, ice sculptor, ice, ice sculpture for wedding, ice sculpture for corporate events. That's what I mean. Your website needs to be organized in topics, right? Authority, right? So authority is talking about backlinks, about getting links to your website. Basically, for this website, I get very little links. There's a lot on social media shares, a lot on some standard directories. That's about it. One way in which you can get authoritative backlink is to launch a press release. For example, if you have a new company, you work with a PR company to launch a press release, and then your website, you have done all the SEO, then you launch a press release. That will give you a boost, right? While you slowly starts to build links with, and relationship with, let's say, bloggers or influencers in your niche, right? Next, your website has to be contextual in nature so that Google will understand. Basically, Google must understand whether when you're talking about Apple, whether you're talking about Apple the fruit or Apple the company, right? Is it relevant? Is your website relevant? Is your website relevant? Is your website readable? That's more important. Your website is not readable when you start to repeat keywords too many times. When you have too many fanciful image that doesn't serve a purpose, right? So your website has to be relevant in your audience. Remember, when doing Google, you write for the audience in mind first before you do your SEO, right? So today, Google is the dominant force, as what we say. Google.com is number 1. YouTube.com is number 2, right? Google has an impressive market share except China, right? No other search engine has this verb. Can you Google it, right? So now we come to what do we do before we start an SEO project, right? So are you barking up the wrong SEO tree? So a lot of people are thinking that they are barking up the wrong SEO tree. So what is it that you need to do before you start SEO, right? Market. A common mistake is, if, for example, if I'm selling dresses or a party dress, I'm marketing to all female. Or let's go into the topic of, for example, weight loss. Your market is weight loss, but weight loss is huge, right? So that is market. The niche, let's say you niche down to, you're just saying that you just want to focus for weight loss for women because it's a bigger market as compared to weight loss for men, but sometimes not true, right? Because men, they drink beer and then they have beer belly and all that, right? So weight loss for women is your niche, and then your sub niche could be that yes, you are focusing on weight loss for women, but you want but you are new to the market, you cannot be focusing on so much as compared to an established weight loss company. So what you can do is you can, when you start your business, you focus on a sub niche first, weight loss for women who have just given birth. And then after that, you can slowly expand to related niche like weight loss for women who is getting married, for example, right? That's what I mean. Start with a sub niche first, because when you start with a sub niche, you don't really compete with the giants, but you have your own competitors as well, but it's probably generally easier to rank, right? Start with a sub niche first. Next, you need to know your customer avatar. Customer avatar is very important. Are you able to map this customer avatar to your daughter or to your niece? Basically, when you are able to map, for example, to your daughter, then you will know that, you know, her friends, what are their likes, what are their dislikes, and you can even do a casual survey with their friends, and you say, you know, I'm launching this dress, is it nice? It's meant for your age. And then they were saying like, you know, it's so old fashioned, right? Then you will know, right? Next, when you look at competitors, of course you have to look at competitors. You have to know and understand what is their playground. Are they on social media? Which social media are they on? Are they active on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they marketing more on Instagram to capture a younger crowd? Are they using ads? What are they doing offline? For example, if it's a restaurant, are they giving out flyers or brochures to people around, or giving out flyers once people pass by their restaurant? Right? Then next we talk about leads. What can you do? For example, if you're giving out flyers, you can have a QR code. Once the person, you know, scan the QR code, put in their name and email address, they get a $10 voucher, or they get a free coffee the next time they visit. So, or they can scan on the spot and they can come in and enjoy the coffee. A lot of restaurants are doing that, because when you provide a free coffee or even free refill of coffee, when people start staying in your restaurant, especially when you have Wi-Fi, people will start buying cakes and all that, and that's how you get sales. So this is what we call lead generation, right? It's called ethical bribe. What are you giving away in exchange of the name and email address, right? And then once they provide their name and email address, you have an email sequence in MailChimp or some mailer software to continue to engage them and to build your brand reputation. So other considerations will be customer relationship management and personal data protection. Each personal data protection act is different from different countries, but generally, if you are getting data from the customer, you must give them an assurance that you will not use or sell their data to any other company, right? So that is very important. So next we look at the SEO process, right? The SEO process talks about keywords, as what we have said, keywords, whether they have commercial intent or are they just general keywords. And then you look at your website structure, you know, when like what we said, when Google walk in to a department store, you know, do they find your website organized? So for example, if you have all the female clothes, female accessory section should be all grouped together. You can't have a men's style in a woman's department. That's what I mean, right? Your content needs to have on-page SEO best practices. And on-page SEO meaning do not repeat the keywords too many times. Later we'll come through the process of on-page SEO. Your images on website and also on Google Photos. As you can see, those branded images earlier in the earlier example, those are the images that are pulled from Google Photos. Video. Are you optimizing video? A lot of people say, you know, doing a video is very difficult. Can you start by doing an image slideshow? The different type of plastic bottles that you manufacture. Are you able to do like a slideshow, do a simple image with your website at the bottom with a bar that says your website and your contact information, and then you just do a slideshow of 10 to 15 images. There are easy and free image to video converters online. You can just search image to video converter and you will be able to do up a video in a couple of minutes only, right? And next we talk about backlinks. Backlinks is the concept of people linking to you. And as we know, it's no longer about quantity. It's no longer about having 1,000 backlinks. If you have 1,000 backlinks and I have only 100 links, I can outrank you because every link that I get is a link from a relevant people or relevant website in the industry, whereas you are just getting all sort of links. So that plays a part in trying to rank high on Google. A bit of common sense in Google, making sure, especially in terms of competitor research, make use of common knowledge. Common knowledge are those knowledge that appear in the newspaper, in the magazine. So that's how you do research, right? So next we come about the website. Anatomy of the website, we talk about domain and hosting. So basically in domain and hosting, generally, if your website area of business is in Cambodia, generally you will get a Cambodia hosting. And you will also make sure that you have secure sockets layer. If you do not know how to set up secure sockets layer, liaise with your web hosting company, they will be able to help you. Next, we look at on-page or internal page factors. And basically this talk about, the answer about, do you want to use WordPress? Do you want to use Wix? Do you want to use Shopify? So you need to determine the platform and also make sure that your content on your page has repeat the keywords a few times and have topical relevancy, right? Then that topical and contextual. So it has to talk about the topics and it has to have certain relation so that Google understand the context that is, you're talking about Apple, the company, and not Apple, the fruit, right? External off-page factors basically generally is the submission of a Google sitemap. If you're using WordPress, or there is a plugin that enable you to auto generate the Google sitemap. So every time your website updates, basically Google will be informed. Next, you have tracking info. You will put something, for example, you have all the relevant Facebook pixel, Google remarketing pixel. Reason for this is if you're using SEO, you're getting traffic to your website. A more effective marketing is you can use Facebook ads to people who have visited my website over the last 180 days. And for example, tell them, if you check out or if you buy this party dress now, I give you a $10 discount. Or I waive the $15 delivery charge. Okay, that's what you can do, right? That's the power. And Facebook is particularly good in this. For example, if you use SEO to your e-commerce store and basically you use a Facebook remarketing ad for people who have visited your website over the last 1 month and you give them an offer. And more often than not, people will convert if the offer is good, right? So that's what you mean. And then it's important to have tracking as well. You need to install Google Analytics. It's a free tool by Google. You can install Google Analytics so that you can know every day how many people visit your website, which are your popular pages, which are your pages that people, after they visit the page, they close the browser. Then once you know that, let's say for example, page A, people who visit that page always close the browser. Then you look at it, you realize that page A has a very big image that takes a long time to load. Then you need to fix it, right? So analytics will give you the ability to fix your website so that your website gets faster loading speed. And yes, loading speed is a ranking factor for Google, right? Next, you have the secret informant to Google. Every time you update, this secret informant will inform Google. For example, that is the Google sitemap. And next, we talk about off-page SEO. What are the links you are building to your website, right? So this is an example of a perfectly optimized page, or this is what we call on-page SEO. As you can see, this page talks about chocolate donuts, right? You have the chocolate donuts in the main title, and you have also in subtitles, you will have chocolate donut as well. In the first paragraph, try to have the word chocolate donuts. For the images that you use, it needs to be chocolate donut.jpg or chocolate donut Mary Bakery.jpg, right? It's just that. You just need to rename the image name to contain the keyword, right? In your content block, you just repeat a few times. In the last paragraph, make sure you have the word chocolate donut. So basically, in essence, in one page, you probably try to repeat the keywords about 4 to 5 times, right? So that is on-page SEO. Backlinks, 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 as we were, what we call is how many people are linking to you, right? So we'll talk about the concept of link popularity. Link popularity, for example, if you have 1,000 links and I have 100 links, your link popularity is better than me. But when we look into link reputation, then your 1,000 links, you pay someone in Fiverr, Fiverr.com. Basically, you can do anything for $5, but please do not get somebody to link to your business for $5, because your link, then you will realize that your link reputation will come from classifieds and even some obscene websites as well. So link reputation is very important. We are no longer looking at link popularity. Link reputation is the way to go right now. Next is we look at a concept called link diversity. Means link diversity means you have a press release link, you have a link from a directory, you have, let's say, blogger, a link from a blogging website or influencer website, link from social media. That's what it means by link diversity. Means does your link do not come purely just from websites, or your link do not come purely from press release alone. So try to diversify your links, but also in the process of getting links, make sure it's relevant to your business. Next, we look at the speed of link building. The speed of link building, basically, if I engage a Fiverr guy and the guy guarantees you within 1 day I can give you 500 links, that is a red flag, right? So that's what I mean. Google also look at the way in which you are building links, whether it is natural or unnatural. So definitely in 1 day you get 500 links, definitely that is not natural, because that's not humanly possible, because a lot of these Fiverr guys use artificial intelligence and robots and programs to help them, and more often than not they hack, right? So that's a no-no. So immediate tips on improving SEO for your business. Remember in the slide where Google bought technologies, when Google bought technologies, they own the technologies. So this is what we call Google love Google concept. Google bought YouTube years ago. Google bought certain company to form Google Photos. YouTube and Google Photos, a lot of businesses are not using it. How do you use Google Photos? Basically, you have your image, you create a branded name with your website URL, and you rename that image to Ice Sculpture Singapore, and you upload into Google Photos. That's all. YouTube, like what I say, you just create a video, simple image slideshow video will do to get started. Or you can also get some influencer to interview you. That is one way to get authority, get an influencer. For example, if you're selling weight loss, you get some influencer that is a mommy blogger. For example, most of her followers are all young mothers, right? And young mothers, some that have given birth, they are your target market, because you are weight loss for women who have just given birth. So get this influencer to interview you on why you think it is important and how your product can help, right? So that's one way, right? That is what you mean by influencer. So coming back to the topic, domain and hosting, try to host in the same country because this will affect loading speed, and Google will somewhat know that, okay, if you're hosting in a Cambodian web hosting company, you are a Cambodian business, and then Google will look whether you have a listing in Google My Business, and then you try to have the keyword in your domain name if you can, but most of you have a corporate site. So yeah, buy a secure socket layer for your SSL for your website. Get that hooked up with your web hosting company. Now we come to website performance, right? Beautiful images with too little text, too large file size. This is commonly associated with interior design companies or people who are designing, for example, the kitchen cabinet or the home wardrobe, right? So beautiful images, yes, is nice and appealing to the audience, but is not appealing to the search engine because if you do not have text or you have very little text, it's very little that Google has to understand your contextual relevance of your website. So how do you do this? Normally, often than not, you will create a separate section called blog and you will blog about certain topics. While maintaining the beauty of your website, you have another section called blogs. If people are interested, people will view the articles, and that's how you ensure that people stay on your website longer and hopefully they will convert to your customer. Pay attention to mobile optimization for your website. Today is a must that all websites has to be mobile optimized. And the latest themes, especially like for example, if you're using WordPress, the latest WordPress themes enable you to do that. You do not need to do any coding for that. Take note of the website speed. Website speed is very important, and website speed are normally associated with big images, unnecessary scripts, and too many plugins, right? Content optimization, always write with the readers in mind, and then the search engine. Ensure that you write in a topical relevance, contextual relevance. That's what we see. Topics, your niche, subcategorize your niche in different topics. Weight loss for women who have just given birth. You can even talk about, like, for example, the pregnancy process and all that, because all this is somewhat related. The more you write, the deeper you get into your niche, the more authority Google sees your website as, right? Optimize image file names with keywords. Now we come to local SEO. Local SEO, very simple. List your business in Google My Business so that it will appear in the Google Map search. So coming back to the example, Ice Sculpture Singapore, Google Map search, it will appear. If you are searching Ice Sculpture Singapore, the results might appear slightly different for you because of this, the hummingbird update, right? It might or might not show as what the result I show you, right? List in general directories. General directories are like hot frog, right? And trade-specific directories. Trade-specific directories is more important than general directories, but general directories, you need to have a listing as well, right? So keep your listing format consistent. Business name has to be consistent. The way you write your address has to be consistent. The way you will write your phone number with international code +65, for example, for Singapore. If your phone is +65, make sure you list in Google My Business as +65. Your general directories as +65. Your trade directories as also +65. So one way to do is, firstly, before you start listing, just open a notepad. This is my business name, this is my address, and this is my phone number that I'm going to do. And then you can, for this kind of thing, this kind of listing, you can actually get Fiverr to do it. I want to list in this directory, but not, because directories are actually safer option for link building. If you just tell them, no, I want to get 1,000 links, that's a no-no, right? Video optimization in YouTube. Are you leaving money on the table for not being in Google? YouTube is the second for not being in YouTube, right? Are you leaving money on the table for not being in YouTube? YouTube is the second largest search engine after google.com. Have a presence in YouTube and optimize it for search. As you can see, wedding ice sculpture Singapore, it appears in Google search as well. Social media, images, and go live technology. Stay where your competitors have presence in. Try to write better content so that you can outrank them. Have a presence in social media, have branded images in photos, and also now go live technology is very important. If it's relevant for your business, try to do Facebook Live, YouTube Live, if it's relevant, right? Okay, so that's all, folks. Do join my free online community. This is my free gift to you. The learning continues at imsecrets.imseoking.com. This is a Facebook group of 1,000 members. t.me/SEO4B. SEO4B means SEO for business, right? So this is my Telegram group that I just started. And my YouTube channel is imseoking.com, right? So as a last parting note, be on the radar of Google always. Thank you. You can take a snap of this.
Okay. Thank you, Eugene, for the informative talk. If you all have any question, please feel free to put in the Q&A and we will answer to you accordingly. I believe all of us have learned something, some tips from Eugene on how to rank our company keywords on Google, and hopefully you all have also learned something about it. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I give you guys like kind of like 5 seconds to take a snapshot of this so that later on you can just follow me, and you can actually, if you have problems, you can either post your questions in the Facebook group, which is the first link, or the Telegram. Normally, I'm more responsive on Telegram, so you can actually post in Telegram, and I will give you some video references that will help you, or I can record the video for you. Yeah.
Definitely. I think Cambodia is very well versed in Telegram. There. Yeah. Okay. If we have nothing, thank you for joining our webinar, and
Wait,
hope
I think I saw there's some remarks here. Wait, let me stop.
there is a question here that how to be top rank of SEO by keywords. I think you have answered that to a certain extent. Or you want to?
Okay. So generally, how to be top rank of Google by keywords? Basically, your research process is very important. That's what I would say. You need to see the area in which where your competitors are competing and where they are not. In the areas where your competitor is not competing, you try to go into there. And basically, keywords, how to be top ranked or SEO in keywords. The first thing about being top ranked in keywords is this. The most important thing is you need to determine what is the buying keywords. No point ranking for property Cambodia. You are better off ranking for 3-room apartment in a certain Cambodian street, or 3-room apartment in a certain suburb or town in Cambodia. You're better off ranking for that. So before going crazy on how to rank keywords, take a step back and really try to see what is the buying keywords. That's for sure. Number 2, be on the platforms that Google have purchased. For example, YouTube, Google Photos. I have shown you that basically just by a simple trick of just putting your URL on the image and renaming the image to particularly keyword name.jpg and uploading that to Google Photos, as you can see in the ice sculpture Singapore example, that will give them the prominence in the image search pack when it appears in the Google search results, right? So how to be top ranked in keywords in SEO? I think generally I would strongly advise you to join my Telegram group, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got a 2 hours SEO video on that you know, talks about, you know, SEO and all that. I will constantly be generating content for YouTube as well. And definitely we can have another, you know, session where we can have another sessions or sessions definitely. So cannot find my Telegram. It's SEO for B. I think if you are from Telegram, I think you type SEO for B in Telegram, right? Or you can use you can for example, what you can do is from your mobile phone, you can open a browser, you type t.me/SEO for B, then they will see that this is the Telegram group is called Internet Marketing Secrets. There's a join button. When you click the join button, it will straight away open up your Telegram, and then you can join from there. Yeah. Right. Really, thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
For listening. Do you have any last questions? Anybody has any last questions before we can, you know, close the thing?
Okay. Before I close it, also I would like to inform that there will be upcoming webinar next week. Okay, on how to grow your business using content creation, which you all can join our weekly webinar. Yeah. Okay. If you all don't have any questions, thank you Eugene for your talk, and thank you for participating, and we hope to see you next week. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Okay, Eugene, we are.